Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Cage Talk. Today, I have a female MMA fighter, atom weight, which is what, 105?
Yes.
Shit, 105. We have the lovely Grace Cleveland, Kitten. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm just, it's here in Texas. It's very hot, very humid today, so I'm boiling. It's like 102. What
Oh my
about over
God.
there? What about over there in Denver?
Actually, it's currently snowing and it's September like the 7th, so that's pretty unusual. But it's also good because there has been a couple wildfires out here. So
Mm.
hopefully that, saves the forest and stuff.
You've been you were born in Denver, correct?
I actually was born in Thailand. I was
Woo!
adopted when I was 4.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when did you get to Denver?
I came to Denver when I was 4. Oh, actually, no, not no. I came to Colorado when I was 4, and I
Uh-huh.
lived on a farm until I was 8, and then I moved to Denver.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Kind of. That's pretty cool. And
Mhm.
again, we'll go over your MMA career, but again, like I said, you're 5-0 pro, 3-1 with your amateur. You did you're fighting King of the Cage, and we'll go over that a little bit. But you're training in Denver, which is pretty intense because, like I was saying before, I actually went to visit Denver, loved it, had fun, but man, when they talked about the sickness and
The
breathing,
elevation.
man,
Yeah.
that elevation's no joke. I went August last year, and we did the Garden of the Gods,
Hmm.
and I did the horseback riding around, and I was good. It was like an hour and 15 minutes. I was good. You know, we're going. It's nice. It's a little hot, and all of a sudden I started getting lightheaded. I'm like, oh shit, like what's happening? I'm like, and I'm still going, like, you know what? It's just me. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
okay. All of a sudden I get really lightheaded where I'm like, I think I'm gonna fall off this horse. So I did. I leaned over and hugged the horse,
Oh
and I
my
just
God.
I just called for help. I'm like,
Oh.
help, help, and they came
Oh.
in with a golf cart because they got someone from the ranch. Like, oh, someone, we need some help. They brought me down. The minute I got down from the horse, I was good. So I don't know if it was the horse or the elevation, but I was like, hey, I'm good to get back on the horse. And they're like, oh, no, we'll take you back to the farm. So literally, I was in a golf cart. They gave me Gatorade as I'm passing my group, and everyone's like looking at me like, oh my God, what happened? It was so embarrassing. I just like put my head, I
Oh.
was like, but she's like, it happens all the time. But the elevation's no joke.
No, it's not. So many people, I mean, a lot of people come here because of the elevation just to get that training.
Hmm.
Because it really does like make a difference.
Hmm.
Especially when you train out here and you go sea level, you're like, oh my God, my lungs they're amazing. And then I heard also from like hip hop artists and rappers, like they
Hmm.
don't like coming out, like, no, they don't like, but when they come out here and do a
It's a
concert,
struggle.
they're like, oh my God, I'm getting tired rapping so fast, like the altitude.
Yeah. I can, I mean, it was nuts, and I definitely can see that. I mean, it's something that I guess you got to get accustomed for. And again, it's perfect for training, like you said. I mean, you probably, once you're done with your training camp over there, I mean, you probably can go, you know, 15
Mhm.
rounds like nothing.
Definitely, you feel good. Like if you can run a staircase a couple times, you're like, okay,
Hmm.
I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah,
I feel great.
definitely. Yeah, there you go. The confidence in it, and that's something. Again, I was walking up a couple of, like, hiking, and it was an older guy. Happened twice in that trip. I was like, "Fuck, what's wrong with me?" Happened twice in that trip, where there was an older guy. He was from, I remember, Pennsylvania, and he was like around 60 something. He was walking. I was walking. I was trying to keep up with him, and we're talking, and I'm losing my breath while I'm talking to him. I'm like, I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna stop talking right now because I'm gonna I'm gonna pass out. I'm like, shit, it happened twice. So again,
That's
Colorado is
funny.
beautiful, so that's
Oh
cool.
yeah. There's this place called Manitou Springs. Like a lot of people love going there because there's
Mhm.
an incline, and that incline is no joke. And like when you go halfway up, you think you made it because it looks like you made it, but it's only a halfway point. You're like, oh my God. And there's these people like just, like, it doesn't matter what shape or athlete you are. There's this guy, this normal lanky guy,
Hmm.
runs up there like 2 times, passing people while everyone else is like dying.
Yep, there are people on bikes. I'm like, how the hell are you doing this right now? I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Yeah, just like normal. So I mean, it's
Right.
a good workout, like you said. So
Mhm.
all right, Grace. Let's talk about your career, okay? So amateur, where'd you start off at?
As my amateur career, I started at basically Factory X.
Hmm.
But before then, I was going to other little local gyms. And at the time when I started, when I was like 19, and I'm like 27 now, so 8 years ago, I'm like, oh my God, the time flies. But there wasn't like, it was just the beginning of MMA career. Like it wasn't big yet. It was just, people are just starting to get into it. So
Hmm.
there wasn't a lot of females around at the time, and there's just a lot of little gems, and sometimes you gotta go check it out because you never know.
Definitely.
And so, but anyways, I ended up finding Factor X, which was a great, it's a really good gym now,
Hmm.
and that's where I kind of began my amateur career.
Gotcha. And what made you kind of like go into fighting? Because again, you're a pretty girl. I mean, why fight it? You get me? Like why risk that? I'm just saying. Like
um,
I did boxing for a little bit, but the minute they popped me in the nose, I'm like, okay, I'm stopping this right now. Like,
well, I feel like I've always been tough, and I feel living on a farm it makes you tough. And we lived in the middle of nowhere. We had like 160 acres, so it was fun.
shit.
Yeah, and I used to be kind of like a tomboy when I was a girl. I used to
Hmm.
not be girly at all.
Hmm.
And then in middle school, I was a dorky little girl, so I wasn't like super cute, and I was kind of tomboyish. So I just played a lot of sports also. I was very active, which I think kind of helped led to fighting.
Gotcha. And what was there any female fighter at the time or someone that you kind of looked up, not female but male fighter that you kind of looked up and like kind of like, hey, I kind of want to do this eventually.
Yeah, I actually saw Michelle Watterson fighting on
Oh,
TV. Actually, the first time I saw it was on Bully Beatdown when she like,
nice.
that
I remember
show.
that
And they're like,
episode.
yeah. So I was like, man, like if she can do it, I can do it.
There
And
you
we're like
go.
the same size, and she's
Hmm.
Thai. So I was like, oh well. I saw
There you go.
myself kind of like doing the same thing.
Cool, cool. And then you went your professional career. You started, and were you ready once you had those amateur fights? Did you want a couple under your belt? Because again, the fighters I've talked to, it's kind of like a hit or miss. Like, yeah, I kind of was ready. I mean, it was like the opportunity was there. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just take it. Or you wanted more under your belt, or you just felt ready.
So at the time, I felt really good and I felt ready. And like when I was doing my amateur career, there wasn't that many girls again at the
Mm-hmm.
time fighting.
Yep.
And so my coach, which I at the time really put all my trust in, was like, you're ready. So I definitely just believed in him and believed in myself. So I was like, let's do this. And I felt like I made a really good decision. So
I mean, you're 5-0. I think that's pretty good. You
yeah.
know, so that's definitely something you should just keep going. But like I said, I know that you're expecting. So training right now is going to be postponed for a little bit. So
Yeah, I have been training. I just can't like spar or
yeah.
wrestle, but I still been like hitting the pads and like
Hmm.
doing jujitsu a little bit, but it's kind of awkward now. It's like,
Yeah, just like hold
yeah.
on, wait. So when do you find out this week what the sex is?
I do. I find out Friday. I'm so excited.
Nice. You better let me know. I think it's gonna be a boy. That's just me.
Yes. I'm like, I want a boy, but if it's a girl,
No,
I'm
yeah,
so
definitely.
happy.
You know
Yeah.
what? I have a boy and it's they're so easy. It's just so easy.
I
I mean,
know.
no,
It's
don't get me
like,
wrong. I mean, kids are a pain in the ass regardless. But
yeah.
he's just it's just a lot easier. There's less
Hmm.
for clothes wise, like when you go shopping, like there's
For
less clothes for
sure.
boys. There's like a million. So like I'm
Right.
like, you know what? Get those shirt and shirt. Let's
I
go.
know. We have a niece. Her name's Harper,
Hmm.
and she's 5 now. But girls are just adorable and cute. But they're so when they're young, they're smart and they have
Yeah.
sass too. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh man,
They'll be
okay.
throwing some attitude at you. You just
I
want to head
know.
kick
I gotta
one,
watch out.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a great feeling. I mean, it's gonna be your first one.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, it's gonna
excited.
be definitely it's gonna be an eye opener. But
Oh
again, I
yeah.
had my son. I was 27 at the time. Yeah, he's 3 right now. Yeah, so yeah,
Oh, perfect. I'm
yeah.
27, so I'm like,
There you
it's a
go.
good
It's the
age.
perfect age because you know what? You're gonna be up. The only thing is it's a little rough is waking up every like 3 hours, 2 hours to feed them.
Oh
That's the
yeah.
only thing. So other than that, I mean it's a blessing. So I'm really happy for you, and
Thanks.
oh, it's gonna be a boy. It's gonna be a kicker.
I hope so.
And again, you just had your birthday. You just turned 27, right?
Yes, I did.
September 1st. It was my dad's birthday. Look at that. That's cool.
It's a good, yeah. I like being born in September. It's not like in Denver, it's like a perfect temperature because it starts to get like less hot.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, definitely. And so, like you said, you're very limited in training as of right now. But was there a fight that you were planning on? What would be your next fight eventually, or you're kind of just taking it
well, I
slow?
was supposed to fight in California before the
Hmm.
pandemic happened,
Oh.
but it got rescheduled, and also I kind of rescheduled it before because I fought February 1st and then I had a really bad weight cut. And that was basically my fault. But I had a shoulder surgery,
Okay.
before like 10 months before my last fight. And I gained, some weight just eating and enjoying life. And
No.
so I got up to like 132 and I fight at 105. And so like I found out a month before my fight, like I was like, okay, now I gotta start cutting weight. But it was actually a lot, harder than I should have like expected. I was
Hmm.
like, okay, this is easy. The weight was coming off, but then the day like I had to weigh in, I had to cut 9 pounds, and that's a lot for like my size.
It would definitely. I mean, 105 is like my leg, one of my legs. No, so how was that? Let's go through that experience because I had a couple fighters obviously talk about. I mean, it's horrible that weight cut, especially 9 pounds, and some people might not think it's a lot, but shit, it takes me 9 pounds. It takes me like a month to lose. So imagine losing in a couple days. So let's go through that. Let's hear that story of
Oh my
what'd
gosh.
you do? What was your preparation for that?
So like normally when I start cutting weight, I just like eat cleaner, like smaller portions, more fish, less heavy stuff,
Hmm.
and just drink a bunch of water and just train really hard. So normally my weight comes off easy for me,
Hmm.
but especially like if fighters have a hard time. So fighters, we love to cut weight, and then after we
Yeah.
fight, we eat
Yep.
so much. We're just gonna eat everything we want because we worked hard for it. But then
Definitely.
we go back up like double the weight that we just cut from, which isn't healthy.
Hmm.
So if you maintain it, it's easier. But since I didn't maintain my weight and I was just enjoying myself,
Going ham.
uh, oh yeah. And then like my boyfriend was like, watch your weight cut. I was like, I'm professional. I've done this before.
I
You
got
can't
this.
tell me what to do. Yeah. But then the day of, he's like, which thank God my coach and them helped me. I just it was I didn't expect it. I did not expect it to be a hard weight cut. I was like, okay, I got this. But then I woke up and I was like, shit, I'm still 9 pounds. I'm like, and I was eating like just eggs and salad, like so
Hmm.
healthy. And I was like, man. So then we wake up at 8 in the morning. I like to take baths. Some people
Okay.
like baths, some people like sauna, but I just prefer just laying and relaxing, and sitting there.
Definitely.
Sauna, I feel like I can't breathe. The whole room's hot. Like
No, it sucks. You're right.
yeah, so
Mm.
so I wake up in the morning, do that, and I cut 5 pounds. So I have like 4 more to go. But for some reason, sometimes the last couple of pounds are always the hardest to get off. So I get out and I wait an hour because it's like 12 o'clock now, and the weigh-in's at 6, so we have time.
Hmm.
So I chill out for a little bit, but then I tried to do it again, and I couldn't sweat. I couldn't like cut the weight.
Nothing was.
Yeah, it was just hard. And so we keep doing that back and forth, the tub and then to the blankets,
Hmm.
where they kind of wrap you up to make sure you're still sweating and stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then they're like, okay, this isn't working. We're gonna have to go to the sauna. So we find a sauna, and I'm just miserable. And my best friend, thank God, my best friend was there, um, because it was a co-ed sauna, so it had to be
Okay.
only girls. So she was there with me, and I start breaking down. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm just hungry. I'm tired. I'm like starting dehydrated, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost get in a fight with her in a sauna because I was like, I want to get out, and she was like, No, you're
Imagine
not
that
getting
shit.
out.
Like they're fighting. They're.
I know, right? But no, she knew. I mean, she would beat me no matter what. But I was like,
Mhm.
I had no strength to fight her either. I was like, oh my god. So I laid on the ground, just upset. But I finally, so when it was time to weigh in,
Mhm.
I didn't make weight. I was still 2 pounds over. But the
Okay.
commission, depending on each state, gives
Okay.
you like an hour or two. Like if you want to make the weight, you can. If you can't, because of health reasoning, then
Mhm.
they'll let you. I mean, obviously you choose. But my coach was like, we're gonna make weight, and you're gonna be happy you made weight. And I was like, fine. So we go back, do the bath again, and I'm like crawling. Like I'm so
Mm.
fatigued. Barely can like my eyes are like barely open already as it is. So I'm just like I'm like half dead already. So I finally made the weight, but before I made the weight, they have me in the burrito again, the blanket
Mhm.
burrito, and I throw off the blanket, and I'm like telling my coaches, and then I'm like, "Do you want me to die?" Like I'm really like thinking like I'm about to die. I'm like I'm just so weak and like,
Mhm.
oh my god, just everything in my head. And I crawled to the scale, and I finally made weight,
Wow.
but I was like moving so slow. It's like it
Your
was
body doesn't
crazy.
function right? It's just.
No.
I think there. I forgot who it was in the UFC. There was one of the female fighters. It happened a couple months ago where she was on the scale, but they had to hold her because
Oh
she
yeah,
was.
you can barely stand.
Yeah, she was
It's
like
crazy.
dropping it. Like it's not
It's
a
not
nice fight.
safe.
Yeah, it's
No,
not really
yeah.
like damn. Like that's just rough. And I think that's the
Yeah.
worst part of MMA is just that weight cut and just
Yeah.
making weight. So
Mhm.
well. And I mean, you won the fight, so regardless
I
you had injury
know.
or not,
I know.
like,
Yeah. I'm like, thank God. But yeah, it was crazy. Just the experience of it taught me a lesson though. I'm like, yeah, you really gotta be on your, shit. Like
yeah,
just eating right, making sure your weight cuts right. Like I was just, and it happens to everyone, everyone makes that mistake in their career, like not making weight or something happens.
yeah.
But it's definitely like, okay, I'm not gonna go eat whatever I want anymore.
Well, now you have that, in the back of your mind. The next time, it's a learning
Yeah.
lessons. Either
Mm,
you learn or you fail and you keep doing it again until you learn.
exactly. Yeah. Definitely.
What do you usually walk around in?
So I usually walk around like 120, so that's why like when I cut from 130, it was just like a lot. But
Okay,
I
all
mean,
right.
I like being 130 though. Like it was, it wasn't like bad.
What's your favorite go-to meal? What's your favorite food? So
Well,
I'm a natural fat ass, so we can't
right. I
go.
think all of us are in America. I mean, they make you that way.
It's
They
true. I
do.
starved to
See?
death in Canada. I went to Canada and the food portions were so small and it was so expensive. I
Yeah.
I was like starving to death. I was like crying every time I was eating because I'm like, God damn, like this is why all Canadians are so skinny because they barely eat. I was like, I need
Right.
just like a McDonald's. Like even the McDonald's portions were like
But
super small.
imagine like because they eat so healthy portions that they're like that's why they're like probably people say they're so nice because like their
Maybe, and
their
we're
brain.
fucking Americans are so aggressive and angry at each other because they're always hangry.
That's true. You know.
But so, what's your
Um,
favorite food?
to be honest, I mean, I love Asian food,
Okay.
but I like all food, Asian, Italian, Mexican. Like I'm a foodie. I'll try anything. So
I tried
not too picky.
Mediterranean, and that was
You don't
rough.
like it?
No, it was rough for me. I mean, I went one time. Maybe I need to try it again. Again,
Maybe
as you
a good
get older,
place.
your
Yeah.
taste buds change. So maybe that's what it
Mhm.
was. So I definitely I'm Hispanic, so I love Spanish food. But again, we did go to I went to a spot in Denver. It was like right outside of Denver, and it was a place called Cuba. It was like
Oh,
Cuban
this is
food.
like sandwich. Yeah, it's like a little
Yeah,
chain restaurant.
and it was hard. I'm Cuban, so like I went. I'm like, oh, well, I knew it was gonna be bad just because it was
Yeah.
very Americanized. But I'm like, you know what?
Mhm.
Hey, it's worth a shot. I mean, it was horrendous, but that was one of the things I had over there. And then I had,
Yeah, you gotta go to Florida for delicious Cuban food. Oh my
you know,
God, they're so bomb.
that or I just call my grandmother. She can come from Florida, and
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
yeah.
see?
And when I go visit my grandmother in Miami, that's the first thing I do. I don't even stop at a restaurant. I don't visit anyone. I just go to my grandmother's house because
And the OGs, they know, they
they
know.
do. They cook good, and she just like nothing. And she's like 86, and she's still in the kitchen just chilling doing it.
That's awesome.
It
They
is.
love that though too. They just like, have you eaten?
Yo,
You
they
need to eat.
overfeed you. They
They
overfeed you
do.
like crazy. I usually come back, heavier than I expected, but it happens.
It's okay.
Yeah. But I would say you said that your favorite food, you said it was is there a certain restaurant that you like to go? Is there like a certain like after your fights and stuff, you're like, I need to go here,
Uh,
like Jorge
other
Masvidal likes like pizza, like that's he goes to a certain
mm,
pizza spot and he goes ham on the pizza. What about you? Anything like
uh,
in particular that comes to mind?
I'll go. I love sushi. Who doesn't love sushi?
That's
I
true.
mean,
Well,
some people don't.
some people
But I
don't,
do.
but
Yeah,
again, it just depends on what you get. Fifth grade, I tried
yeah,
sushi, wasn't the greatest. Now I love
yeah.
sushi. What's your
Right? You just
What's
gotta
your
go to
favorite
a really
roll?
good spot.
Hmm.
I like to get like nigiri. Like I'll get rolls too, like some special rolls.
You
But
like
I
the
just
raw sushi, like the straight up?
like sashimi. Sashimi
Yeah,
bomb. That's so good. I
I
do
gotta
like
work on
that,
that.
and I
I
like
gotta work on
nigiri
that.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta work on that. That's the only thing. That you put eel sauce on anything, and I'll eat anything. Like I'd rather not
Mhm.
have soy sauce. I'll eat with eel sauce. Eel sauce is the shit.
It is. It's good. It's delicious.
And then some places charge you if like you have like eel sauce and shit, which is I don't get.
Oh,
In
that's
Miami, they
interesting.
do that all the time.
Yeah, they probably charge you for everything though, Miami.
That's true. You're right on that one.
Yeah.
They charge you everything and their mother, but other than that, what's if you can recall one of the highlights of you're still young, so your career as of right now to this day, like I say, hey, was one victory that you had or fight that you had was like memorable that you remember? What would kind of pop up in the top of your head?
I think like I would say actually my like when I fought Shauna and that was like my fight back from my injury because I took basically 2 years off because I had a neck injury and
I
I
saw
was
those pictures. That
paralyzed.
was on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
I saw you on Instagram. I don't know. I was looking a lot. Yeah. So what happened there? Wait, let's go there before anything.
Well, I was 23 and I was living my best life and I was with one of my old training partners and we're at Washington Park, which
Mm-hmm.
is like a beautiful park. And we have done this a couple of times before. Like it's called acro yoga, which is acrobatic yoga, which you do with a partner.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of like a gymnastics form kind of yoga. And it's not like our first time ever doing this, so it was a freak accident. So I'm basically doing a handstand on his hand and I like lost my balance and I landed on my head and my neck. And it was just crazy because it was from like maybe 4 feet, not even that high up. But just because of how I landed,
Mm-hmm.
um, I thought it was a stinger because he's like, my friend's like, oh, should I call 911? Like, what
Mm-hmm.
should I do? And I was like, I'll get up, I'll walk it off.
I'm good. I'll give me a
Yeah,
second.
but he's just like, can you feel this? And I was like, no. So
Oh,
I
that's
was like,
scary.
it's paralyzed right away. It was crazy. And then, yeah, so they rushed me to like, the ER, and then
Mm-hmm.
they're like, you have a spinal cord injury, you hurt your C1 and your C2. So it's just pretty crazy. And they're like, basically, doctors gotta tell you the worst because they don't,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, well, you might take you a year to walk. We don't know because of like how severe your injury is. So
Oh shit.
yeah, it was just crazy.
So how long did it take you to recover? Actually, a year.
I went to Craig Hospital, which is one of the best like spinal cord back, injury.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was there for a month, and then I got released. They're like, you're our shortest patients you're our patient that we've had here at the shortest time, which is awesome, cause so when I was in the hospital, I just kept trying to wiggle my feet, like when I could start moving stuff, I just
Mm-hmm.
kept trying to, because basically what happened when I hurt my neck, they said that it directly bruised my spinal cord, which shut off all my central nerve system. So it's
Okay.
basically like a reset. So like it was
Shit, you
just
just gotta start
crazy.
all over again, like a
Yeah, I
little
was like being a
baby.
baby
Yeah,
for
it's
real.
nuts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So and I just worked with so many doctors and at Craig Hospital, they're amazing, and they just like they have a program. So basically, they have physical therapy like 3 times a day. And
Hmm.
for me, I was like, perfect. Like, get me out of like
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I was excited because I'm like, well, I train already, so that's like so normal for me.
Hmm.
And I think being athletic already really helped my comeback.
Hmm.
So after I got out of the hospital after a month, I did a lot of PT on my own. So
Okay.
like I just trained on my own and like eventually just like I don't know, it took me a year to walk normal, but it just kind of like I just kept pushing myself. I mean, as an athlete, I already know how to,
Hmm.
so it was just like,
Well, I think that mentality also helped you with your recovery because, like they said,
yeah,
I mean, some people might not like that's like a mind fuck. You get me? Like that
yeah.
little can really bring someone really, really down. But you seem like you were okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think the whole time I was in denial. I don't know. I was just
Hmm.
like, um, I'm gonna fight again, like right away. Even like the first day, I was like, the doctor's like, you're never gonna fight again, and I was like, no, I'm gonna
Oh,
fight again.
there you
And then
go.
it was cool because like so after 5 months of being in the hospital,
Hmm.
I end up going to Thailand.
There it
I
is.
was like, yeah, so I got a sponsorship in Thailand at Fairtex,
Okay.
and I was just like, well, life is short, might as well just go for it, like, and that's where I'm from, so I got to go like see my home country
That's
and
cool.
train, and then I did my recovery out there.
Okay.
So, and while I was out there, they're like, well, we need at least to talk for you to talk to your neurosurgeon
Hmm.
to make sure you can fight. Like, no one was gonna let me fight unless I talked to my doctor, of
Hmm.
course. So I talked to my doctor, and my doctor's like, you're good to go, you can fight. So it was pretty
Nice.
awesome.
So that the
Yeah.
the fight leading up to that, were you super motivated? You must have been like,
I was so excited. I was
mhm.
like, so it's like what I worked really hard for, and I was just excited to get in there and see how I do too. It was like 2 years, and like, but it felt good, and I won that fight, and I felt really good. Like I felt like even though I took that time off and had to recover from a serious injury, it didn't feel any different, which was really nice too. Like man,
Yeah,
like I
you're like,
feel
I
good.
still got this shit.
Yeah, I'm
I
still
got it. Yeah,
badass.
I'm a bad. I might fuck myself up, but I'll still come back strong.
Right, exactly.
Nice, nice. That's cool. That's again, shit. Have you ever done the yoga thing again or no?
Oh no, I won't do that ever again. I'm like, no, like I won't go upside down unless it's fighting. I'm like, okay, well at least if
Mm.
I don't know, it's like that.
Well, I'm glad you're okay and everything worked out, for the better part again. So, I mean, hopefully I'll see you back in the cage, and then you got to let me know, especially if it's a boy or girl. Just hit me up, let me know.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm definitely gonna fight after I have a baby. Like you see like Mackenzie Dern and like other fighters, man, like
Yeah.
man, they're inspiring and I'm
They do it like
excited.
nothing though. Like they blow up. Not that you're gonna blow up, but they blow up and then they like
Yeah,
they shrink back and they have.
I know.
Yeah, I'm like I've been
Yeah.
trying to get a six pack for like 30 years of my life. I still haven't been able to do it. So I
I
mean,
know.
it's expiring. So I mean, I definitely don't put it past you because I mean your mentality. You kind of have that focus and that drive. So we'll definitely see you back in the ring, and I'll be rooting for you. Definitely.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you too. It was a good conversation, and I'm glad that you took the time. Again, I appreciate you coming on and stuff, and I hope that everything goes well.
Thank you.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that was Grace Cleveland. Thank you so much, and you have a good one. All right, hun.
You too.